Hello and welcome where's here the National Socialism. In my YouTube channel, I take on my object of the lastings of the Holocaust and how it affects our societies still today. Of course, it is a negative way, and it's most of the time very disappointing to work on this theme as a project or like a YouTube channel. And one thing is, like, I'm already um, it's a thing I already know. It's always a thing I discover the most of the time, and is that the development is very bad. The crimes they happened, the things they last, and the descendants who transport these topics in the most aggressive way to the future are having a progress and an impact to the world that is not fair to others. And I have one example. I think it's really not able to imagine that in our courts are working really hard criminals in Germany and maybe in other countries in the world too. So Antonescu is a person who became judged and is wanted all over the world, and his descendants in a kind of way too. Even his descendants had been judged because they did not give the money back they earned with killing families and leaving a country with more children than adults by killing the children's parents. This happened in conclusion with the Holocaust, and it is a feature of the Holocaust. Antonescu was a very hard criminal, and he killed in his own country more adults and left more children than the economy could stand that situation. It is said that Antonescu caused the poverty of Romania, a big country. And for this, his descendants, who grew up in a higher society range than the middle class, even in South America. There they stored enormous wealth and shared a wealthy life with hard criminals like Nazis from Germany. And this was why he became even wanted all over the world, and even his ancestors who did not accepted that they need to give the money back became a topic that they became wanted. And then now, in the last 10 years, something happened that is for me really a breach with the law, a breach with the international regulations to defeat or to judge Holocaust criminalities, is that Antonescu's daughter and his granddaughter is working in Bavaria in a court for being a judge. The Bavarian government decided to act against international law and gave the criminal woman a very good working position and some shelter from international punishments, but she did not give the money back. She had her wealthy life in South America. She studied from the economy, war, money. Yeah, their parents never worked. They had no chance to work because they did not ensure clarifying to the regulations of judgments. They did not work. They lived from the killing economy, and they really left a country in poverty. And today we have in Bavaria a very unfair judgment, and let's say it's a special feeling to encounter a monster's granddaughter who is so rude in her expression, like you would imagine a dictator. You encounter no intelligence, you don't encounter equality, no quality, and that is really hard. Can you imagine? And that is something, of course, it deserves a YouTube channel, and I always wonder why, where are the engaged reputations in a network and in newspapers and news and magazines that we really are many people people who are having one thing in common, that the upper class, high society, the middle class, who is having the base on being racistic and national socialistic, is totally not equal in proceeding their jobs or being a worker for the government. So they always are not fair, and they always are corrupt. And this is leaving a big gap in other people's lives. So um, that is really something unforgivable. And of course, it deserves a YouTube video in my channel, because I think, can you imagine? And it had been even like 10 years ago in the news that Bavaria is accepting this international judged person who is not giving the money of her ancestors back to have a shelter to work in Bavaria for being a judge. So a judge above to rule or to judge other citizens from all over the world in an international little university city. And to enface this person and to um, receive really ignorance and corruption is something I made the experience on my own, and it was just a little thing, but I would say so the quality was so bad, and the behavior, the words, the wording I received was really like you would imagine. Okay, this is the granddaughter of a dictator, and what is fair? So if I have 2 millions on my account because my parents killed 30,000 parents, and I go to Bavaria, to Germany, and I meet my neo-Nazi colleagues and all the National Socialistic descendants, and they all do the same, and they are all right. So you cannot, anyway, in any topic, call this democracy or a fair and acceptable social system, or anyhow, it is only totally out of order. But that is really true. And I think it's beyond imagination that you really don't know, but it's really true that in Bavaria, in the court of the small town Erlangen, is working the granddaughter of Antonescu, hidden in Bavaria and having shelter from the international regulations, from the international court punishment, that she should go to prison and give her economy back to Romania. And let's say if somebody would do this today, we have all the same law above us. Nobody is allowed to kill 30,000 people. You are not allowed to kill parents to steal their economy. All this is so hard crime. But in this people, we have a big gap, a big gap to equality, and it's a hard breach with law. And how can these people who never became forced and fear the justice to accept what is really good law can have a healthy behavior? It is unbelievable and not broken national socialism. And for consumptionists who encounter this, it's a nightmare. And even to involve other parties, like we have influencers from hosts from national socialists abroad who bring corruption and criminality additional to Europe. And in this combination of conflicts, you need to go to law, and you encounter this. It is for regular consumptionists. Let's say it is not acceptable. It is absolutely not acceptable. And for this, there is no, let's say, to face the reality. We have no autonomy. There's not enough response with self-confident, critical people with access to the government, and it is very disappointing. But I think everybody should know and should have the chance to be self-confident and knowing, because it is a big, big, big injustice, and it's beyond our imagination. So this is what I want to achieve with my YouTube channel, that you can imagine how bad people can be, how bad the situation it really is, and that you don't need to become the first victim again and again, that you know how bad it is really. So you don't need to be a student, come to Germany and make that bad experience. I want to show you some topics that will make you really think suspicious, that you can really imagine what is happening there.